In a stunning twist following the fallout that saw Lil Meech cut from the BMF cast, sources reveal that Big Meech, despite being the architect of his son's removal, broke down in tears over the consequences, yet still coldly refused to let Lil Meech reclaim the role, sparking deep questions in the streets over whether Big Meech even considers himself a true father to his son anymore. What started as a power play has turned into an emotional firestorm that no one saw coming. Just weeks ago, headlines exploded with the shocking news that Big Meech had allegedly orchestrated the quiet cancellation of his own son from the BMF TV series by begging 50 Cent to give him the lead role in telling the family's legendary story. Many fans thought it was the ultimate betrayal, a father undercutting his son for the spotlight. But now, in the darkest, most unexpected turn yet, insiders are saying that after Lil Meech was officially benched, the gravity of the situation hit Big Meech like a freight train. Behind bars, away from the cameras and far from the glamour, the man who once built a drug empire and ruled with iron discipline reportedly broke down in tears, devastated by what had happened, but still refused to give the role back to his son. Let that sink in. A father who saw his son rise to stardom in his name. A son who carried the family legacy on his back for 3 seasons of BMF, endured scrutiny, trained for the role, and made the show what it is. And after all that, Big Meech not only replaced him, but is now watching him get ice out of franchise he helped build. And he's letting it happen. More than letting it happen, he ensured it. According to sources close to 50 Cent and the production team, Big Meech was given several chances to patch things up after the backlash. 50 reportedly asked him if he wanted to reverse the decision, if maybe Lil Meech could return in a co-lead role, or even in a creative position behind the scenes. But Big Meech said no. Firm, cold, no compromise, no discussion. And that's when it became clear this wasn't about a show anymore. This was about control, legacy, ego, and possibly something much deeper and darker between father and son that none of us ever saw coming. Now the streets are talking. And the question being asked in barbershops, in blogs, in studios, and streets across America is simple but heavy. Does Big Meech even consider Lil Meech his son anymore? Because to a lot of people, no matter what went down, a real father doesn't do this. A real father doesn't sabotage his son's career. A real father doesn't cry about hurt his kid. Then double down and keep the knife twisted. That ain't parenting. That's warfare. And while Big Meech may be crying in the dark, it doesn't change what's happening in the light. Lil Meech is out. And for the first time since BMF began, he's truly alone. Let's rewind the tape a bit. Before the fallout, before the betrayal, before the tears, Lil Meech was a golden child of this entire movement. When 50 Cent first launched BMF, it was considered a risky move to put an improving actor in the lead role. But Lil Meech rose to the challenge. He trained, he studied, he embodied his father, and the fans respected it. The streets respected it. He wasn't just acting, he was living the role. And more importantly, he was honoring a legacy that could have easily been lost to time. He made Big Meech into a household name for a whole new generation that only knew bits and pieces of the legend. So when news broke that Big Meech had asked to take the role for himself, many thought it had to be a rumor, a misunderstanding. No way a father would ice out his own blood like that. But the reports were real, and the pain was realer. Sources say the moment Lil Meech found out he was being replaced, his world collapsed. Not just professionally, but personally. He reportedly stopped showing up to certain events, canceled meetings, and even avoided taking 50 Cent's calls. To him, the betrayal wasn't just from his father. It was from his mentor, his producer, the man who promised to guide him. And while 50 tried to smooth things over publicly, the private damage was irreversible. And just when it seemed like things couldn't get worse, the emotional gut punch hit. Big Meech, locked away in prison, had an emotional breakdown after watching his son's name vanish from the credits. He reportedly cried during a private phone call with a longtime associate, admitting that he didn't expect it to go this far, that he thought it would work itself out, that he didn't want to hurt his son. But what good are tears when the damage is already done? That's what Lil Meech's camp is saying now. They don't want remorse. They want accountability. And more than that, they want answers. Because the deeper you dig, the more cracks you see in the image of a tight-knit father-son duo. Rumors are now swirling that Big Meech and Lil Meech were never as close as they portrayed, that their relationship was more transactional than emotional, that from early on, Big Meech always saw his son as a tool for the brand, not a partner. And now that the brand is thriving, he doesn't need the tool anymore. That's the harsh truth some insiders are whispering. That Big Meech's tears aren't about regret. They're about control slipping through his fingers. He didn't cry because he hurt his son. He cried because the backlash made him look bad. And let's not ignore the fact that even through all this emotional chaos, Big Meech is still refusing to reverse course. That's the part that's haunting fans. If he's truly brokenhearted, why not fix it? Why not pick up the phone, tell 50 Cent to bring Lil Meech back, and restore the legacy as a family? Instead, he's pushing forward with his version of BMF, one that sidelines his son entirely, one that, according to reports, reframes the story with new characters and even erases certain creative liberties Lil